Why is it that some people seem to always be so lucky and they always seem to go through life and nothing seems to bother them and things just seem to fall into their laps and they have these amazing partners and families and jobs and they just seem to have it easy. And we look at them with their flashy cars or whatever and think like, why is it so hard for me, And it's something I've given a lot of thought to because I am very, very interested in people. I'm very interested in how people think. I'm very interested in why do people do what they do, which is why I ended up doing coaching on top of veterinary medicine as well, because I saw how much investigating this in myself and working on myself, how much that changed my life. And I want to share with you what I have discovered during this journey of like what makes lives easy for some people and what makes life harder for other people. And everything, you have to excuse me because I got a bit of a cold. As per last podcast where I was washing my hair with cold water, or it could also be my sparring partner but had a big cold the other day in Muay Thai. Who knows? Who to blame? It's fine. I'll survive. What else? We do actually have hot water now, but I haven't used it yet because now I don't want to wash my hair while I've got a cold. Anyway, so I got extremely interested in how the way we are, the way we feel, the way we act, the way we see the world, how that affects how things happen to us. And obviously coming from a scientific background like you all, if you're a vet and you're listening to me, it's all like what I see, what I can prove, what I can what it makes sense to me, like what makes sense scientifically and neurologically and all that. But life has given me a lot of nudges along the years, and I hope I don't lose you here as to why there is something a bit more than just meets the eye. So it is true that managing your mind, if you can manage your thoughts, have access to your thoughts, know where they're guiding you, and then decide whether you want to keep them. And then the emotions you can arise from there, and then the actions you take. It's very much like everything is on me. Like I decide my thoughts, then I can decide my feelings, which kind of determines the energy from which I'm taking my action from. But there is something more. And the first time, I'm not going to talk about the poltergeist in high school that kind of showed me that there was something else, just not me to I, but I want to talk to you about an incredibly powerful experience I had that really made me believe in like the energy we send out and the energy that comes back, also called like manifestation. And I'm not saying so manifestation, I watched The Secret. I don't know if you know the movie The Secret, which I loved. And I absolutely sat there and I visualized forever. And, it's kind of not worked for me that way because I still do not have a Tesla in my driveway. But I have had incredible experiences just from managing my energies and knowing exactly what I wanted. And I want to give you a really powerful example that did make things shift for me. And I want to give you a powerful exercise that will change at any time, no matter what's going on for you. You can change your energy in a way that will change your life in any moment. And I'll tell you about that after. But I want you to know the why I'm teaching this first. So when I first started coming into this world of coaching and I started working a ton on my money mindset. I mean, I think VetMed, like apart from whatever went on in our childhood, our mom saying we couldn't afford this and our dad had to work around the clock, whatever like money stuff went on for you. VetMed traumatizes us because we go in and we want to help everybody and suddenly money is in the way, right? Like they don't have money and then like people that are in it for the money. And if you try to make money as a vet, like, is that a bad thing? And what if they don't have money, then I'm the bad one? Like there's so much, I was so much trauma around that. And I literally almost sank my business because I was so bad at my money mindset and charging people just made me feel so guilty, right? So when I got into coaching and I realized, oh, it's actually my mindset that I need to sort out if I actually ever want to be self-sufficient money-wise. Then I started working on like trying to like manifest money, which didn't go very well. And then I started to manifest like different things, like trying to like if I can like believe I can have it and if I can feel worthy of it and this and the other. And I was doing all this like besides all the management of my thoughts and management of my feelings, right? But one thing I said I wanted was when Bruce and I became vegans, and we are the biggest foodies in the world, right? Like I'm forever experimenting with recipes, with like we love going out and like trying new foods. And I had this like desire to take him to a restaurant in Copenhagen that's quite famous that has like a whole plant-based menu, and it's like super expensive. It's one of those where you go in and the menu is just like this thing, and you get 13 different dishes, and then like you're just in heaven, right? But you pay like thousands for it. And I was like, I want to make money with my side business, maybe like renting my house out, like doing, I was still doing belly dance back then, the belly dance, whatever it is. I want to like make money in a fun way so I can guilt-free spend it on taking Bruce to this amazing restaurant I really want to do, right? So in my mind, I didn't have clear how I was going to earn the money to get to pay for this. No, but I had really clear how nice it would be to take Bruce to this restaurant and us enjoy this like food together. If you ever seen my Instagram stories, I'm forever posting food I make, and I'm just like, I'm obsessed with food. Like I don't get, like, even before I went plant-based, I was just obsessed. So anyway, so I'm in this situation. I'm still not making enough money to go to the restaurant, but in my head, I'm like, I'm not in a hurry. It will happen one day, and it's gonna be fun, right? I can't like kill myself doing night shift and then spend it all one night in a restaurant. That was my reasoning. It has to be in a fun way. I have to achieve this thing, right? Okay, so forward a few months, and I can't come out of my last night shift in the UK. So I work Monday to Monday, and I fly to and from the UK every Monday. So it makes sense when I finish my 7 night shifts of 13 hours each. When I travel home that Monday, I'm pretty knackered. So I don't normally don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to engage. I'm normally really friendly people. When I meet people, I like asking them when they're from. I always find people really exciting. But after 7 nights with hardly any sleep, and then having to travel a whole day either back to Spain or to Denmark, I'm just not in the mood. So I had downloaded Netflix on my phone. I also had like a book. I had my Kindle. I was just like so ready, and I had like some fruit to eat, and I like really like just like self-care on this like 3-hour flight, right, going home. And then because I'm too tight to pay for my seat, I'm sitting in the middle, which is not great. If you don't know what's next to you, you know what's going to happen. And to my left sits down this guy that's like, if you imagine a Brit going on a stag do with his friends, that was like him. Just have that image of that was like him. Like there was more guys with the same, like these red shirts, and he puts them in the pocket in front of the seat in front of him. He puts this like feather head decoration from like a Native American type of Indian thing. So he puts that in there, and then he's like talking to the guys across the aisle, and they're all a bit loud, and I'm just like, oh, thank God I could just like put my headphones in and watch a movie. I don't have to deal with this guy because he's probably drunk, like you just get the vibe, right? You're not what you want when you're like tired. So I sit there and I start putting up Netflix on my phone, and I get this, and I swear to God, I'm not lying to you. I get this whisper in my ear saying like, ask him about that feather headset. I'm like, why would I? I don't want to hear some stupid story. Like, I'm just not interested. And it just got like, I got this like, and I could only describe it like an itch to ask him about this thing. And I was like, okay, so I turned my phone off, turned to him, and I'm like, what's this about then? And followed next was a 3-hour conversation with this guy who was the executive chef of a very famous hotel in London. I'm not going to say the name because just in case somebody hears it, and I don't want to like put him on the spot, but he was an executive chef of a really famous hotel in London. His daughter happened to be a veterinary nurse, and she was struggling a bit, and we just spent like 3 hours talking about how much he used plant-based cooking in his big menus, because when they have people from Google, from Siemens coming, like hundreds of people, they might be Muslim, they might be allergic to gluten, they might be allergic, they can't eat pig, they can't eat this. So it's just much easier for them to use like gluten-free plant-based menus. And we talked about that, and he was showing me pictures, and I told him how much I love food. And then we're talking about his daughter and the veterinary profession, how he struggled. I was explaining everything about my coaching. When you just click with someone, you don't think you're going to click with them. And we just like chatted, and by the end of the flight, he knew about Bruce, about Olivia and Paola, my girls. I knew about his wife, his daughter, everything. And he's like, oh my God, you should come back and I'll make you a meal. And I said, okay. So I took his card, went home, and I didn't think too much of it. And then I think a couple of weeks later, I saw his card in my wallet, and I was like, well, not my wallet, in my phone, you put your cards. And I thought, you know what, I might actually reach out, because Bruce and I, we could go to London. Bruce could come, he could see the hospital where I work. I haven't been there that long, so he knows kind of where I go when I go for work. So Bruce could come over, we could visit his family, and then we could actually go to this restaurant, right? So I emailed the dude, and he's like, yeah, come. And we agreed on a date. And I was like, okay. And I thought, and I had to like borrow shoes from one of the nurses, because when I go for work, I only wear trainers. I didn't have any nice shoes. So we dressed up, had a really nice time, went to the hotel. And I am not lying to you. This is 100% true story. And I have like witnesses in between them, Bruce, that this guy had prepared a plant-based menu that consists of 16 different dishes from starters to pudding. He had written it out and like made a menu, like a written menu for us specifically, and he had all the staff in on it and the wines to choose and everything. And they treated us like it was like a fucking Pretty Woman experience. I kid you not. It was so amazing, and we were so in awe of it all. And I said to Bruce, like, this is fine, it's fine. I'll pay it on the credit card. Because I did not understand the level of cooking of chef this guy was. But I was like, oh, he's kind of like in the kitchen at this. No, he was actually the executive chef, which I hadn't quite understood what implied and the level this was at. And I was like, it's fine. You know what? I'll pay it on the credit card, and then I'll ask to take some extra. I can go low coming. Like I was like, this is fine because we're really enjoying it, but I hadn't actually prepared the money yet for this, right? So I was like, okay, fine. It's fine. We'll sort it out. I'll sell a kidney. I don't know. Anyway, we finished the meal and I was like, okay, so now, I mean, I've got up to £5,000 on my credit card. It should be enough. This is what I was thinking, right? And we asked for the bill. So the chef, kind of like the main maitre, whatever, the woman most in charge waitress comes over and I'm like, can we have the bill then? Like after all this, and we had been shown the kitchen and everything. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'll ask, his name, like what it is, because I don't know. This is like a unique thing he's just made for you guys. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. Like I wouldn't even know what to charge you. And I'm just like so grateful that you loved it and stuff. So we got this meal for free that I 100% believe that I manifested, because otherwise, guys, like, tell me how this happened, right? By the energies I gave out, right? That is like 100% believe this. So I also 100% believe that the opposite is true. Like we manifest through our life. So through the thoughts and the feelings you have, and you go through life, and things get attracted to you depending on the energies you go out. And then after this, I have read like so many books on like quantum physics and all the stuff that goes around and how we all like linked and all, it's all connected. And it went a bit woo-woo, but like if you come back to basics, like, and more stuff like this and then happened to me, and the more I remember to stop hustling, to stop forcing things to happen and force things that are not meant to be, the more I kind of lean into like the energy I give out, how I see things, what is my perspective, how much literally love can I give out to the world, how much can I contribute to my community, how much can I lean into, my worthiness and what I want, and also be super happy to share with other people along the way. Like it's become so much easier. Like work has become easier, my life has become easier, my relationships have become easier. And I want to share this with you because not because you necessarily want to eat a 16, plate dish menu in London, although you probably like to as well, be nice, start manifesting now. But because I want you to understand that if you go to work every day dragged down, feeling really negative, and you let yourself stay in that state day in, day out, you are not likely going to attract a lot of nice stuff. And this is where the most powerful exercise comes in that I know in this world. Like the most powerful feeling that exists in the world is for sure love, right? But it can be like if you get up in the morning and you're thinking about work and your manager, like love might be a bit of a stretch. Like I can find it when I think about the people I really care about and my girls, Bruce, my mom and all that. But I really like, you cannot find love if you're just not in it, right? So what the most powerful exercise I want to show you. So I just bought this because my last booklet had to run out. So I bought, if you're watching me on YouTube, I got this little notebook, right? And I don't do it anymore every day because now I'm getting better at catching myself. So I go like, I have dips and I have ups and downs. But when I feel I wake up in a bad energy and I can't shake it out by doing yoga, by just getting up, like maybe listening to some meditation, like my go-to is always a gratitude journaling. Because aside from love, which can be a bit difficult to find if you're not in a good mood, like gratitude is so powerful. It is the most powerful emotion, and the energy you give out into the world when you feel grateful is apart to none other. And there's no other emotion that can conflict with gratitude. So what I do when I want to make sure that I go into my day in a way that I give out the best energy I can. I give it my best to make it a good day for me, to make it a good day to people around us. And I swear to God, like losing my mom, losing my brother, my two girls have been sick one after the other. I don't know if I told you that Paula also had appendicitis and I could not believe it was happening again. I don't know how I manifested that. Hopefully that wasn't on me. You never know. Um, it just really makes you like your life put into perspective, and it's like each day has to be as good as possible for me. I am not taking less. Sometimes then it's shit, okay, then I can deal with it, but at least for my part I want to make sure I go in with a good energy, right? So gratitude is the one powerful emotion you can always reach for. And why can you reach for it? Because if you're listening to me, you're likely not sitting in a hut somewhere with no running water, no electricity, and feeling really sorry for yourself as some prisoner of war, right? You likely sitting in a house, you likely got roof over your head, you got electricity, you got internet, you got maybe a smartphone you're listening on. You might be driving in a car, you might be out for a walk, you got shoes, right? You have food to eat, you have somewhere to go shopping. You know, there is a lot to be grateful for. I like if I struggle to find it because I'm like, you know, your brain just focuses on everything you don't have. I don't have my Tesla, and why have I not got this? Then, you know, you start focusing on stuff like that. I think of people in Gaza, bless them, you know, how hard a life they have right now. You know, their kids cannot have education. If you get pregnant, oh my God, like how scary is that? You know, where's your next meal going to come from? You rely on strangers to send you food that they deem is good for you. You know, you don't know when you're going to get bombed. So I go to them, and I know it's a bit extreme, but like people like them, people in Ukraine that are in a hard situation right now. And I'm like, I like it is my duty to be grateful for where I am right now. And also aside from that, obviously, you know, pray for them if you're religious, donate whatever, like try to help them. But also I feel like we owe to them that if we're in such a privileged position that we are working in, like we have a full education that we chose, we are working in the profession we actually studied for, you know, we are safe. We have food in our bellies. We have a roof over our head. We've got electricity, running water, means of transport. We go on holidays. We have television, Netflix. You know, there's so much to be grateful for. So when I can not find it, because I'm not perfect either, and I get up in a really vile mood sometimes, just because sometimes I have a fucking bad dream. Last night, I dreamt that BMW rammed into me from behind and smashed my car up, and they were like really rude about it. And I woke up really pissed. I'm like, why? What? You know, and I couldn't shake it. And then I sit down, I take this cute little book with from El Torcal de Antequera, which is this like mountain thing we went to climb, and they have these booklets with goats on you could buy. And I also make sure that's another thing. Like I bought 20 of these pens. These are like plus soft something. I don't even know, but I bought one, it was amazing, and then I bought 20 because like a good pen, right? And my gratitude I always do in my notebook because there's something about like it's in my hand. It's like I feel it. Like often when I journal, I'm like, I'm so pissed off because this and this happened, and how do they dare complain against me and I run a model? I'll often do it on my laptop because I can't be dragging all these notebooks around when I'm traveling. But my gratitude I will do by hand always because I need to feel it. So I will sit down and then I will literally be grateful for this house. And my mom left me this house, and I'm super grateful to her. And then that will maybe make me think, and I have to write it down, right? Because if not, I'm like, if I just sit and try to think of gratitude, I'll be like, I'm so grateful for this house. And then my brain will go like, what about the house tax? Did you, when you're next to clean? So in order for me to redirect my brain, I do write it down. So I'm grateful for, and I sit down and I write the date and I say, I'm grateful for, you know, this house. I'm grateful that we live so close to the beach. I'm grateful for, you know, having known my mom and having had such a relationship with her. Like, thank you, mom. And I'll write, maybe draw little hearts next to her. I'm grateful for modern medicine because both my daughters have been lethally sick this year, and without modern medicine, they would have died. I'm grateful that I got to be there for my brother and his family. And on that, I am the one thing that fills me with love and gratitude at this moment is that I have invited my whole family. So all my nephews, all my nieces, my remaining brother, his wife, and the other sister-in-law and her boyfriend to come on the 20th to a big Christmas party at mine in our farm in Denmark. And they've all said yes, apart from one person yet that still don't know if they can get away. And it's like, there's going to be children, there's going to be all my nephews and nieces. And after all, we went through my brother, you know, and also the others from the other brother. One is flying home from Paris, and I am so grateful. And I can like imagine us all sitting there, them arriving, because I just love them all. They are so like, do you feel like that young people nowadays are so fucking brilliant and they're so emotional intelligent. They're so wise. I mean, my nephew who's like 30 something has got two small daughters and he talks about bringing them up and I'm like, what are you, 90? How do you did you become so wise? I mean, they're amazing. And I can find the grateful, like the gratitude for them, and then love comes in as well because I think of them and it's just like such a heart opener. I am grateful for myself. I'm grateful to myself because I've done all this work to bring myself out of a big fucking hole I was in 5 years ago. I'm grateful to all the teachers I've had in coaching, all the like free podcasts out there, the books I've come across that have helped me. I am grateful to YouTube because there's so much information out there. I'm grateful to whoever invented the internet because, I have access to all this. I'm grateful for my MacBook that, what a brilliant machine that just works, hopefully as long as possible because it's fucking expensive. I'm grateful. There's just so much. So once I start, then I start finding it. And it's important that you don't just write it down like ticking boxes. You have to like stop and just like feel the gratitude for each of those things. I'm like the house and I feel it. My mom and I see her, I hear her laugh. Like I'm grateful that I could be there for my brother and I imagine the hospital and being there and all the emotions that were there. And I really, really feel it settling, right? And I will fill a whole page with these things. No, and sometimes it's like ridiculous things. Like I'm grateful I've got food in the fridge. It's like I'm grateful for my Christmas blanket. I'm grateful for Christmas because it gives me an excuse to meet my family. I'm grateful for my amazing coaching clients that never cease to amaze me with how brilliant they are. Like I think some of them are so much better vets than I am, and they talk about procedures, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard about that. I've never done it, but yeah, good on you. So I'm really grateful for that. Everybody that trusts me and as a vet as well, like, oh my God, they trust me to help them with their animals. And because we just skip over these things in our daily lives and our brain just goes to focus on like, oh, that guy, he overtook me in his car and how dare he? I need to put petrol on. I don't want to. It's such a nuisance and my fingers are gonna smell. Our brains just keep coming back to all the negative stuff. And if you don't redirect it, then you are feeling negative and you're also attracting a lot of negativity. And have you ever noticed that when you worry about a shift, like you're thinking about a shift, you're thinking about the staff you're going to work with, like maybe the clients that are coming, and your brain is just telling you all these stories, all these negativity that are going to come in, or what if they're not better? I'm not going to know. They're going to say, we're going to be short-staffed on this nurse who's like never supports me. And, and your brain is just like, let's search for the problems. Let's just go and search for all the negativity. And even if you're not attracting any negativity, because I don't believe like the universe is cruel. As soon as you think of something negative, you're gonna get it. But you feel like shit. Like there's literally no point in like the hours until you go to work and you drive to work to be feeling like that, to be feeling like shit and thinking shit stories that might not even be true. Because then you go there, it rains and then people don't come in because when it's, for example, in Spain, when it rains, people are like, oh, can't leave the house. Or it snows and then people don't even come in. They cancel their appointments and then somebody brings you chocolate and somebody has bought some new tea and suddenly the day is just amazing. And the nurse you didn't get on with, she doesn't turn up and there's another one. You just never know. So all these hours spent worrying and creating negative stories, even if they don't manifest something negative for you, you're just like having a really bad time for no reason, right? And you cannot prepare for disaster anyway. So when you have a lot of anxiety as well, like a lot of fear going on for going into work. Like I coach people and the anxiety levels are so high. Like some of you guys are not even functional because you're thinking of work and you worry so much. And sometimes it's too much and like we cannot get our brains on board with we know rationally that I don't need to be scared. Nobody's gonna kill me. I'm not gonna get kicked out of the veterinary college, but you cannot rationalize. If you can sit down and have like your favorite notebook and just like make it like 5 minutes for you. Like I have my Christmas blanket. I finally managed to drag out. I managed to drag out because Bruce is like, it's not Christmas until it's December. And I had to make him understand I'm working now next week, which is like when I'm recording this, next week is like 24th of November to the 1st of December. So I'm going to miss out on a week of Christmas, right? Because then I work 1 week in December as well. So I have to like catch, anyway. So I got my Christmas blanket out and, some tea. And I was like, let's just breathe for a second. I did hear like a little meditation, just 5 minutes, just to kind of like, brain, let's just reset after we still pissed off by that BMW non-existing that smashed into my car and broke a non-existing glass in my dream. So let's just meditate. Let's just get our brain down to some other vibes. I put some music on. So today I just like Googled positive energy music, something megahertz to kind of like, just like get our nervous system on board. And then by hand, I sit and I write down what I'm grateful for. And you can do that. So if you have a lot of anxiety before going to work, before going to bed. Do that. Have your little safe corner. Sit down with a book that's yours, with a pen that's nice, that writes well. Don't bring it to work, they will steal it. And you write down what you're grateful for, just like I've done. And if you cannot do it because you have such a state of anxiety, like start with basics. I have shoes. My legs are working. My hair is still on my head. I'm not, I haven't got alopecia. If you have, I'm sorry. You look amazing anyway. I have access to food. I have roof over my head. Like start with really basic things and make sure you stop every time you write one thing down, and do write it down, because your brain will jump off if you just try to think it. You have to write it down. Otherwise your brain will come up with shit instead. And you write each thing down and you feel it deep in your body, and you will notice by the end. So my lists are typically like, let me just see so you can see. If you're on YouTube, if not, then you could jump over there to quickly watch it if you want. This is like it's a whole page, right? I make sure I write all the way to the end of the page, because I want to like prove to myself that I have so much to be grateful for. And I really think it's important, and you might not be able to get there yet. So I'm there now after 5 years. I can be grateful to myself, like Snoop Dogg's thank you speech, where he thanked himself for doing all the hard work. I want you to thank yourself as well. Be grateful for yourself, for taking the steps, like, for example, listening to this podcast to try and find a way to feel better. Grateful to yourself for having taken the education towards that profession you love. And you can find gratefulness, even if you don't like your job right now, you could still find gratefulness for gratitude for having the ability to study something and then work in that thing you've studied, right? Instead of having to work in Starbucks because there's no jobs for you. So that's what I really wanted to say today, is no matter what the situation is at work, no matter how hard life is right now, you can find gratitude somewhere. And that gratitude, that feeling is going to overrule any other feeling of resentment, being pissed off, being scared, because gratitude is just under love and vibration levels, and you cannot overrule that, right? And there's points like, so now when I do my gratitude, when I think especially of my mom, of the girls, or Bruce is putting the wheel back on my bike right now because he's had changed the tire, and I cannot hear him swearing, but I know he's swearing. I know it's hard to put a wheel back on a motorbike, so I'm grateful to him because he does that, and then we can go on a ride on Sunday. And that, when I feel I feel gratitude towards people, I can find the love. Like I can feel the love, and I can feel this like openness in my chest, and I can like breathe freely, and it just feels like this warm, cozy feeling in my chest. And even if you just get it for a second, like it lands in your body for a second, and the anxiety is pushed out by that, now you know how it feels. Now you know how it feels, and now you at least have a chance to start imagining that things can be better. Imagining that you are, you sort your shit together, like so many clients I've coached, and find a way to enjoy the profession, or to leave and find somewhere you really like, and standing up for yourself, and being in a position where you can be really grateful for, okay, I'm here now, and look at all this good stuff I've got. And I really want to point out that just because you are feeling gratitude, I'm not telling you to, let's say you're in a really toxic workplace, right? And I'm not saying be grateful for that and just shut up, bitch. No, I'm saying be grateful for whatever you can be grateful for, because it will also put you in a place where, first of all, you can like logically see that you don't need to stay in this place. You can find another job. Feeling gratitude, feeling love, feeling calm, feeling grounded is gonna wake your brain up to possibilities to see, because maybe right now, like say you hate your workplace and it's toxic and they're not supporting you, and you're like, but I have to stay here because I bought this house next to it because I thought this was going to be my forever job, so now I have to work here forever. No, you can rent your house out, you can drive to somewhere else, you can find a clinic you can live at. Like there's so many possibilities. But when you're in like that fear, anxiety, like just sitting there all stressed out, you don't have possibilities in your brain, you cannot go anywhere. But the gratitude, the love, the groundness, the calmness is going to open up possibilities to move away from where you are, because you can be grateful for the things you have and still want more and still want a better life. And I think that's a journey, isn't it, for all of us, no matter if you're a vet or you're not a vet, but it's always to get as much out of life as we can. We only got one, goddammit. I mean, I'm not just going to sit here and be unhappy my whole life. And even if I never manage to manifest a Tesla in the driveway, and if I do, you will know about it, I'm still going to be like trying, and I'm still going to be manifesting, and I'm going to have a hell of a time doing it. And having the opportunity to know about this through all my teachers and all the podcasts I've listened to be able to try manifestation out, to be able to like practice feeling gratitude, to be able to feel the love instead of just feeling like resentful and stressed and constantly thinking about the cases I've done wrong and the cases I'm doing wrong and what's going to happen next week and when we short stuff. Like, I don't want to fill my brain with that. You know, I have a life to live. And of course, you need some sort of like organization, but you don't want to be like in it all the time. And I want to say, like, so as much as I feel grateful and I love being a vet and I love what I do and I can find grateful for anything, it still means that I'm going to fight if I have to fight. Like, I took a whole day off to travel to Madrid, which is like a 3 hour train ride with a bunch of other vets from Malaga to protest in front of the ministry because they just put this stupid law out. Like, if you're British, you wouldn't even understand how the Spanish government can be so stupid with doing this law that just like basically squashes vets to death, basically. So I was like, I'm gonna fight with them, no? And I was angry, and I was standing there, and I was like, you know, like the police cars were there with they got a civilian that with their big machine guns, and I'm like, I will die for this cause, you know, because when you're in it, there's a lot of people, you just get carried away, right? So I can be angry and I can be like fighter when I have to, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be thinking about this all the time, feeling anxious and angry and resentful, right? Like for the moment when I can do something, I pull that anger up, I pull that like fighter up, and I go for it. But I don't carry it with me all the time. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you didn't get put off by me talking about manifestation. I know all you guys are, we're very scientific. We're very like what I see is what I believe, but also I am telling you, and I'm not starting to give you a lot of examples because I don't want to put you off and thinking I'm making it up. But this was just like one example of stuff that's happened to me since I started doing this thing and since I've really, really worked on my energy and just like opened up for things flowing and not being like so like a control freak as well. That's another one, wanting to control everything. You're not allowing other possibilities that you're not seeing right now happening in your life, right? So I hope this was something that will encourage you to start gratitude. I hope you will buy a journal. I hope you will buy a nice pen. And I hope you'll do this like one exercise. If you do nothing else of what I've ever said, this one thing will for sure change your life. You have to be consistent. You have to do it every day, even when you don't feel like it, and especially when you don't feel like it, right? I love you so much, and I hope, yeah, you're feeling great and you're like warming up for Christmas like I am. Tell me what you're doing and what you do for Christmas. And are you working? I'm not working this Christmas. Yes. Thank you, Emily, for doing my shift for me. And I love you guys so much. Bye.